Firstly, what does OI mean? What does it stand for?
It stands for original idea, because I can't have an original idea when I come up with titles. So,
Hi there everyone, and thanks for joining me for another episode of Den of Horror. Today is a continuation of the interview that I did with filmmaker van Heerden, writer and director of the great little short film OI. If you haven't yet seen OI, I suggest that you stop watching this episode, go down to the link in the description and go and check out OI. I highly recommend it, and even if you are not a fan of short films, I promise you, you will not be wasting your time by watching this. It is a wonderful little psychological horror movie of the highest caliber. In today's episode, Encia discusses with us the entire process of what it took to get OI from conception right through to release. And it is quite a fascinating story. Encia also gives us a lot of his own personal philosophies when it comes to what it means to make a good horror short film. So lots of interesting stuff here to unpack. And if you like this kind of content, then please bite me with a subscribe. I really appreciate the support. I have a lot more content coming your way, so watch this space. On that note, enjoy the interview.
I wanted to actually talk to you about OI. I mean, firstly, what does OI mean?
it stands for original idea, because I can't have an original idea when I come up with titles. So I wrote it down, like initially when I came up with the idea, I wrote down original idea, and that kind of stuck. And then as we were moving forward and we shot the movie and we're busy cutting it, I was talking to Victoria, my wife, who also produced the movie, and I said, we have to come up with a cooler name for it. It can't just be original idea. It's dumb, you know? And I just couldn't. Like every other name I came up with, it just didn't fit. And so I was like, well, this is called OI. Like just hide the fact that I can't come up with a cool name. So yeah, that's what it is.
I'm not really big into short films. I've never really watched a lot of them. And to be honest, those that I have seen, I tend to not like, because there are very few that are good. And there's this like echelon right at the top that are really, really good. And I honestly feel that OI is in that group. And it's not just good compared to other short films, but it's actually good as a film. I mean, it has like a perfect structure. It has this really cool story. The performances are great. The directing is also pretty good.
No, it's okay.
Now, how did you come up with this idea? Because this is probably for me the coolest part of OI is the actual idea. It is novel. It is completely different to anything that I've ever seen before. How did you come up with this idea?
Sometimes you form a picture of yourself in your head of who you are and what you can do. And I've never seen myself as the idea man. And I was like, let's just change it. Let's just see, you know, and if I'm not, that's fine. That's fine. There's enough people with enough ideas out there that I don't have to come up with all of them, you know? And so I just sat, and most of, like, honestly, 98% of them were terrible ideas. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Just sit, try and write 5. Usually I only did like 3 a day, but this was just one of them. And then I was just like, intrigued with the concept of original idea. Like, what is an original? Like, because people always in movies say it needs to be original. You know, when you talk about talk to the creators of it, or you see like people talking about scripts. Like, if you send in script, make sure it's an original script. Like, what do you mean by original? So, because the stuff that you're putting out is not original. And what is original? Like. And then I was like, well, let's take that concept of an original idea and let's push it as far as it can go. And yeah, that's how the movie came about.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's basically about a guy who has this original idea. I don't want to spoil anything, but who has this original idea but can't share it with anyone because it has detrimental consequences for anyone who hears it.
Part of what inspired me to push it in that direction and to make it kind of more funny than serious was Terry Pratchett, the writer Terry Pratchett.
Right.
Because there's a character, Leonard of Quirm, it's based on Leonardo da Vinci,
okay.
Who comes up, like, all these ideas hits his brain, Like they're all attracted to his brain. He at some point he develops like a helmet that he puts on to sleep with, so he can sleep, so he doesn't get ideas during the night.
Yeah.
And that was kind of where the concept came from. If you want a truly original idea, it needs to come from somewhere else, because the way ideas work in the normal human mind is through experience and from just listening to what other people are saying. Say you watch a YouTube video and then you watch a movie and then you talk to someone and then like all this stuff happens and your mind somehow puts a bunch of those things together to create this new idea. But it's not new. It's based off all these experiences you had. It's unique. It's possible that it's unique because your experience, my experience is unique from your experience. Like the people I talk to and the things I watch and the way I watch things is unique for the both of us. Like say you sit and watch a movie and completely focused on it, but I sit and watch a movie and I'm playing a game on my phone, you know? Like we're going to see the movie differently. I'm mostly going on hearing where you then have all of it. That's my idea of what an original idea is. A truly original idea is impossible. Right. But an original idea, which is an amalgamation of all these other ideas, yeah, that's the only way you can have an original idea.
And basically your protagonist has like the purest form of an original idea and therefore can't share it.
Yeah, so you woke up with this original idea, somehow that entered his brain. Like maybe some aliens came down and like implanted it or whatever it was. Yeah. He just woke up in the night and he had this completely original idea that came out of nowhere. Like it's just like a comet hitting his head or something.
Did you write the script for that particular actor? Because the main actor was really, really good in this. And I was just wondering if you had him in mind while you were writing it.
So the whole thing with OI, like the way it happened, all of it was just like luck, pure luck. Like, or not, it just kind of, or not, yeah, a lot of it was luck. A lot of it was just working off instinct. And I say this because when we talk about Hunter's Cabin later on, there's a reason there's a difference between the two, and we'll get to that. But so I wrote the script. I sent it to a friend of mine called Michael Brosnan, who, if you see the end, that's because of Michael Brosnan. He came up with the ending for that. So eventually got the script to kind of where I wanted it. And then we went to Chris and Cara Casting here in Vancouver, and they sent me videos of people that they thought, like other audition tapes that actors that they think would be into it. They sent me the audition tapes for other projects. And so I kind of sat through that, and Ben Cotton, who's actually quite a big deal, I didn't know at the time. He was one of those guys, but he was like he wasn't my first pick. The first pick actually, I couldn't do it. Like he got a job and he couldn't make it. Okay. And so we contacted Ben. I'm super. It just turned out great. I think Ben was a big reason why this between Ben and Ket, Ben being the protagonist and Ket being the other crazy guy. Between the two of them, because they're so different, it made a cool contrast. And also because their characters kind of flipped at the end. Their arcs had a nice big arc to it. And definitely the actors made a huge difference to like if you look at the script and you see what ended up there, the actors made a huge difference in what happened and how it turned out.
I found the performances in particular were top notch, and it was also really nice to see. You mentioned Hunter's Cabin, which we're going to speak about. It was really nice to see. I can't remember the actor's name, the barman character, who's actually Toby, right? That's right. Yeah. Right. Sorry, Toby Hargrave. Shout out to Toby. Yeah, it's also great to see that he's also in Hunter's Cabin because he's really good.
And he saved he saved us by being the barman in OI, because I just kind of threw him in there, and he's like, yeah, don't worry, I was a barman, I know exactly what to do. And he, like, just the things he did in the background was cool, because he was listening to the conversation, which he needs to for it, but he was also just being a barman. And I was also a barman at some point, and so I know, okay, the things he's doing there is the correct things that you should be doing. But I didn't have time. We shot that whole, everything that happens in the bar, we shot in one day. And that's 16 pages of script with heavy dialogue in one day. We went over time a bit, but it was amazing. And that's all the actors. If the actors weren't prepared, like we did a lot of rehearsals, and the actors were all in on it, and they did an amazing job. But if it wasn't for that, I don't think we would have made the day.
Right. Now, short films, they sort of have a strange sort of place in the entertainment world. You know, I mean, it's sort of like, where do they really fit? You know, what is a director who goes out, or a filmmaker who goes out and makes a short film? What is their ambition, or what do they want to achieve with a short film?
So there's a couple of things. First thing is, you want something to show. And a short film doesn't cost, like, you pay per minute for a movie. So the more minutes you have, the more expensive it is. And short films usually, it's not that long that people have to work on it. So you can usually get people to work on it for free or for very little money. And so it's just like a calling card, like going, hey, look, this is what I can do. That's the main reason I made it. The other reason is for practice. Like, if you want to be a film director, it's tough to practice it, because you can't just grab a couple of guys and maybe when you're younger and stuff. But I kind of got into it like way older. So this was like 2018, and I'm turning 44 this year. So it's like, I didn't have, and I'm also not in the country where I studied. I studied in South Africa. And now I'm in Canada. So I don't really know a lot of people, like independent movie people here, which is partly a lot of it's my fault too, because I've gone out and met more people. But just the way life happened and things happen, I don't really know a lot of people here. And so, like, we knew enough people between Victoria and me, most of them, to get the thing done. But I don't know enough people to just grab some, because everyone's busy. Everyone's my age that I know, and everyone's got kids, and everyone's got these lives that they have to, it's got stuff to do. And so you can't just grab someone for a week like you can in your 20s and go, let's go make stuff, because it's the stuff. People have mortgages and rent and food that they need to buy and all this kind of stuff. You can't just live off a packet of like quick oats or noodles or something anymore. So
not once you're older. Not once.
No.
Yeah. So this, so it's basically, for you, it was, or for any filmmaker making a short film, it's a good calling card, and it's also really, really good practice. It's not as expensive, obviously, as going out and making a feature film. Yeah. But even so, I mean, even though those were your ambitions, the film, it exploded. Did you expect that kind of a response? There's also been a very positive, active response from people who have watched the movie in the comment section. I mean, I read some of it, and it's really, I mean, the response to the movie has been positive. You can see that people are connecting to it. How does that make you feel?
It feels good. I'm not going to lie,
Yeah.
And I mean, that's part of why you do it. Also, the reason I wanted to make that movie, not that I wanted to make a short film, the reason I went into it the way I did is I wanted to make a short film the way that I've always wanted to make it, without sacrificing too much because of money. And so I wanted to go out and make a movie properly for the first time, because I've made some stuff before, but that was more let's grab a couple of people and run around, And it wasn't like planned out properly. It wasn't scripted properly. It was scripted okay, but also I had a lot of stuff to learn, in between making those first ones and making this one. I count OI as my first proper short film, just because I've learned like so much about filmmaking in the years in between that now I go into it completely different, even from how I went into OI and how I went into Hunter's Cabin. The next one, it's definitely going to be a different approach for me. And that's why you do that. So you can learn, and
that you're learning.
It's not a big cost.
So every film teaches you something, right?
Yeah, if it doesn't, then you're doing it.